when things happen in your life, in the theater of your life, the character has to deal with them and look at himself while dealing with them. And so by doing that, the character will eventually come to a point where it realizes, well, this is no longer suitable. This personality, this character is no longer suitable. So it leaves the stage. This is in a healthy environment. It leaves the stage, and a new version of a character is brought forth to that stage. The issue is that a character is, even though it is mental, a mental entity, is alive. It gains a life of its own through our essence. And so what happens is that if it's alive, and if it realizes it is alive, it doesn't want to leave. It doesn't want to dissolve. It doesn't want to, let's say, die. Okay? Mm-hmm. So it goes into survival mode. And survival mode makes it try to fool the ego and to fool the soul and to fool even the essence, and to continue the status where it can exist, where it can survive. The easiest and the best way would be to just accept death. But I'm sure, Luke, that you realize that if you're faced with a situation where your death is imminent, you will go into survival mode, and you will do whatever. You will be at least feeling the urge to do whatever to survive.
You know what's interesting about that? But that, in situations like that, the mind stops. I had some situations when I was facing even death, and sort of the thinking mechanism stops. You are relying on your instincts, and sometimes like time slows down, and you are in this flow state, and it's kind of different than your normal day-to-day existence.
Yes, that's true. Yes, and the character tries to put the mind into that state so that it can maintain control. So the control is inverted. Instead of the essence controlling the ego and the ego performing the character, and if that would be the case when the character needed to leave, it would just simply leave to make way for the new character to be played by the actor of the ego. It is an inverted control. So the character controls the ego and therefore controls the essence. And the way to do that, the way that the character found, the characters, I'm talking individually, but you can make it a plural, found to control is to maintain a situation where they are viable, where they are needed, where certain aspects of personality are more valued than others. And if they would simply accept leaving the stage, simply accept being dissolved, and understood that their time has come, their time in the sense of as being a character. It doesn't mean actual death, as you understand, but that the mental construct time has come, then a new version of them would simply come and take the stage. But this is the fear of death and the fear of dissolution. And so the theater of the world plays out in two different ways. At an individual level, you are performing your characters and looking at yourself, and gradually, it should be that way, gradually knowing yourself better through reflections on the mirror, through shadows, and so on and so forth. I talk about that in my channel. But there is an inverted situation as well, where the world itself, and which is ruled by characters that have been stuck in survival, in the sense of they want to continue existing as they are, trying to impose a worldview and a situation where they are still needed, they are still viable. And so if you look at a world from a mainstream point of view, you will realize, if you observe yourself, that is reinforcing a certain type of character that is probably no longer viable, except if you follow that worldview, right? If you follow that worldview, then this character is viable.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are if you want to continue being that character, if you don't want to change your personality in that sense, then you will embrace the mainstream view, or even the alternative views that still reinforce the pivotal situation of whatever is being discussed. So it is a matter of inverted control, in the sense that for the character to still be pertinent, you have to change the stage and change the props and the scenario where the drama is being played out. And you are basically telling the essence, see, I'm still needed. This way of existence is still necessary, and it's still what needs to be there. When it's actually the other way around, it is no longer needed, and it has to go. The characters that saw that and identified with that, their time has long passed, and they're just in survival mode, just delaying the inevitable, in my view.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered your question well, but
yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you, because I don't usually make notes, but I had a note that was saying, I remember from the early contemplations you did, you mentioned the simulated interactive nature, describing this reality as as that, and that there is the real part of the human which interacts via ego, if I understood, if I remember correctly. So, and you also mentioned that life probably, that's what I remember, goes in cycles, and there is better times, worse times, and it's all to keep the character invested in the game. So, if I don't know if my understanding is correct, but I think you imply, or you maybe even say it directly, that there is the real essence of the human, which just involves in this virtual reality kind of game simulation, if you will,
Yeah.
and that's all that we see is sort of a fake, illusory kind of simulated reality. If that is correct, can you clarify that?
yes, well, the essence knows it is an illusory reality, and it voluntarily went into the illusory reality, in my view, with the purpose of knowing itself. And when I say this is, imagine, if you can, a being that is that has its own that has no needs, so it is self-sufficient, and it has everything it needs, so it just exists, but it doesn't know, and especially it doesn't know about itself. So it just is, but doesn't know. Okay? So the way to know is to co-create an illusory setting where it can look at itself from different points of view, look at its own potentials. So I have the potential to be the victim, I have the potential to be the criminal, I have the potential to be this, I have the potential to be that. And by looking at all those potentials, it knows when it comes back to its original state, which it will always come back to its original state. Time is part of that illusion. It no longer just is, but it is and knows that it is, and knows what it is. So it returns to a state of innocence in the sense that it's no longer participating in that illusory reality, but with the knowledge of who it is, knowledge of what is its own nature, what is its own essence. And so it becomes a wise kind of innocence, and that is, I think, the purpose of it. That's why we are here, and this is my view. I remember a scene from one of my favorite movies. It's called The Frame. I don't know if you've watched it, but
no, I don't. I don't usually watch movies, and this title, even if you mention it, I don't even recall if I ever know about what it is about. So no, sorry.
Yes, it's a very interesting movie. It's a low-budget movie. It's not very well known, but it's very interesting. And there's a scene there where one of the characters say, I know that you're angry for all that you've had to do, but that's why God tests us. God tests us so that we can look through God's eyes and see what He sees. So in the sense, it is, if you imply that God is the essence, you go through the illusory reality to be able to look at yourself through the eyes of the essence and know what it is, and realize that that is a potential of the whole, of the whole essence, a potential of God, if you would like to put it like that.
So that's when the analogy of mirrors comes in, right? So
correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because the mirror, the reality will always mirror back the potentials that are refused. For example, if you were to say that if you follow the duality kind of aspect of God, so let's say on one side you have God, on the other you have the devil. Okay, God is proud and uses shame, right? God will refuse anything that isn't strengthening its own pride. And so it uses shame if anything is outside of its pride. The devil, on the other side, is shameful and uses pride to go against the pride of God, to shame God, right? To try to shame God. And if you look at this duality, which is obviously one of the narratives along the illusory reality, if you look at it, it's basically showing you that if a part of you is refusing something on the other side and casting it away to hell, let's say, which would be the unconscious, subconscious types of mental existence, then that will come back to haunt you, and it will come back to try to shame you, because the issue is that your self-image is based on a pride of an existence that isn't the full potential of who you are. And the full potential of who you are includes the stuff that you like to look at and the stuff that you don't like to look at. You know, we all have potentials that we really don't like. We all have traits and situations where we know that it's shameful for some reason, right? It shames us. And while it shames us, we cast it to the subconscious. We sort of repress it